Here's the way for President Trump to get Greenland. Event background and overview. In a renewed discussion about the potential acquisition of Greenland, President Donald Trump has once again expressed interest in the Danish territory, labeling it a strategically interesting opportunity. The idea of the U.S. purchasing Greenland was first proposed by Trump in 2019, creating a stir in international politics. As of January 2025, Trump reiterated his position, suggesting that Greenland's incorporation into the U.S. would bolster national security and freedom. On January 7, 2025, Trump's eldest son, Donald Trump Jr., arrived in Greenland for a personal visit. His trip was accompanied by social media posts expressing optimism about Greenland's prospects, claiming that the territory would benefit significantly if it were to become part of the U.S. Key facts. 1. Trump's position. Trump has framed Greenland's significance around issues such as climate change and geopolitical strategy. He noted that as the ice melts, new shipping routes open, attracting interest from global powers like Russia and China. Furthermore, he highlighted Greenland's untapped mineral resources, coal, zinc, copper, iron ore, diamonds, and oil, as additional reasons for the U.S. to pursue ownership. 2. Current status of Greenland. Greenland is an autonomous territory of Denmark with a population of around 60,000. Its Prime Minister Múte Egede has publicly rejected the notion of selling Greenland, stating emphatically that Greenland is ours and we will never sell it. This stance reflects a broader sentiment within the territory regarding independence and self-determination. 3. Additional proposals by Trump. Beyond Greenland, Trump has floated other controversial territorial ideas, including claims over the Panama Canal and suggestions for merging with Canada, which have been met with widespread criticism and ridicule. Timeline of events. 2019, Trump first suggested purchasing Greenland, prompting a backlash from Danish officials, including Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen, who described the idea as absurd. January 7, 2025, Donald Trump Jr. visits Greenland, during which Trump reiterated his interest in the territory, emphasizing its potential benefits to the U.S. and its strategic importance. January 2025, reports indicate that both the Greenlandic and Danish governments maintain their opposition to any sale of Greenland, reiterating that the territory is not for sale. Source summaries. 1. CNN report. A technical error prevented CNN from delivering specific details on the matter, leaving a gap in comprehensive coverage. 2. Forbes analysis. Forbes provided an in-depth examination of Trump's motivations for acquiring Greenland, citing national security and mineral wealth as key factors. The article also highlighted the political tension between Trump and Danish officials, especially after the 2019 proposal was met with disapproval. 3. YouTube coverage. A video segment discussed the implications of Trump's repeated interest in Greenland, offering insight into public reactions and the historical context of U.S.-Greenland relations. Major differences in coverage. Information gaps. CNN's report lacked specific insights due to a technical glitch, whereas Forbes offered detailed analysis on Trump's strategic interests and the geopolitical context of Greenland. Reactions and attitudes. Different media outlets interpreted the reactions from Greenland and Denmark variably, with some focusing on the economic implications of Trump's statements, while others highlighted the cultural and historical significance of Greenland to its people. Conclusion. Trump's ongoing fascination with acquiring Greenland has reignited discussions about U.S. territorial expansion, national security, and international relations. Despite his son's visit and the renewed public interest, both the Greenlandic and Danish governments remain steadfast in their refusal to entertain the notion of selling the territory. This situation illustrates the complexities of geopolitical interests and the challenges faced in international negotiations. The likelihood of Trump's proposal materializing appears slim, given the strong local opposition and the historical context of Greenland's autonomy. As the political landscape evolves, the discussions surrounding Greenland may continue to serve as a focal point for broader debates about U.S. foreign policy and territorial claims. The content discusses Donald Trump's interest in acquiring Greenland, detailing various perspectives and reactions to his proposals. Here are the counterintuitive pieces of information identified within the content. 1. Historical precedent. While it may seem unusual for a sitting president to propose the purchase of a territory, this isn't entirely unprecedented. Former President Harry Truman offered Denmark $100 million in gold for Greenland in 1946 during the Cold War, viewing it as strategically significant. This historical context might suggest that such territorial discussions, while controversial, have occurred before. 2. Geopolitical importance versus local sentiment. Despite Trump's assertion that Greenland's melting ice and mineral wealth make it increasingly valuable, the local sentiment strongly opposes any notion of sale. Greenland's Prime Minister has firmly stated Greenland is ours. We are not for sale and will never be for sale. This highlights a disconnect between geopolitical strategy and the will of the local population, which may not align with external interests. 3. Cultural and political complexity. The narrative simplifies the ownership of Greenland to a matter of U.S. acquisition versus Danish control. However, the reality is more complex, involving the historical ties of the Inuit people to the land and their aspirations for greater autonomy or independence from Denmark. The notion that a territory can be bought overlooks the rights and voices of its inhabitants. For economic misunderstanding, Trump claimed Greenland was hurting Denmark very badly due to financial assistance needed for the territory. This statement contrasts with the reality that Greenland has its own government and economy, and framing it merely as a financial burden fails to account for the local economic dynamics and the value of cultural heritage. 5. Trump's broader territorial suggestions. Alongside the Greenland proposal, Trump has jokingly suggested the U.S. should reclaim the Panama Canal and absorb Canada, which, while often dismissed as humor or hyperbole, raises questions about sovereignty and international relations. This approach can seem ludicrous but reflects a broader, more provocative strategy in his political rhetoric that challenges conventional norms of diplomacy. 6. Political symbolism. The Danish royal family's decision to change the coat of arms to feature symbols representing Greenland could be viewed as a political statement against Trump's proposals. This response illustrates how symbolic acts can carry significant political weight, potentially reinforcing national identity and autonomy in the face of foreign pressure. 7. Public perception and media coverage. The media responses to Trump's proposals vary widely, with some outlets emphasizing the strategic importance of Greenland while others focus on the absurdity of the idea. This divergence in coverage reflects broader societal divisions regarding Trump's leadership and foreign policy approach, indicating that public perception is often colored by partisan lines. 8. Environmental considerations. While Trump focuses on the economic and strategic benefits of acquiring Greenland, the environmental implications of such actions, especially in the context of climate change and the rights of indigenous populations, are often overlooked. This reveals a counterintuitive aspect where the drive for territorial acquisition may clash with the ethical considerations of environmental stewardship and respect for indigenous rights. These points highlight the complexities and nuances surrounding the discussion of Greenland and Trump's proposals, revealing that the situation is not merely about territorial expansion but involves deeper historical, cultural, and geopolitical layers. In the context of reports regarding former President Donald Trump's renewed interest in acquiring Greenland, several significant aspects may be overlooked. These elements, while not always the central focus of media coverage, carry substantial implications for international relations, geopolitical stability, and the future of Greenland itself. 1. Geopolitical significance of Greenland. While many discussions focus on the economic motivations behind Trump's interest, such as Greenland's mineral wealth or its strategic location, there is a broader geopolitical narrative that is often underexplored. The melting Arctic ice due to climate change is opening new shipping routes and access to resources, thus increasing Greenland's strategic importance. This shift could lead to heightened tensions among global powers, including the US, Russia, and China, all of whom have vested interests in Arctic affairs. Understanding Greenland's role in this evolving geopolitical landscape is crucial, as it could influence international diplomacy and regional security. 2. Local sentiment and autonomy. The resistance from Greenland's local government and its people is a critical element that is frequently minimized. Prime Minister Múte Egede's emphatic stance that Greenland is ours reflects a strong sense of national identity and a desire for self-determination. This sentiment is significant because it underscores the complexities of colonial legacies and the modern push for indigenous rights. Greenland's pursuit of greater autonomy and potential independence from Denmark should be viewed within this context, as any external proposal to acquire the territory may be perceived as neo-colonialism. Ignoring local perspectives can lead to misunderstandings and exacerbate tensions. 3. Historical precedents. The historical context of territorial acquisition is often overlooked. The U.S. has previously attempted to purchase Greenland, notably during the Cold War, reflecting ongoing strategic interests. Trump's proposal is not new. It echoes past geopolitical maneuvering that can inform current debates. Understanding these historical precedents, including the Danish government's past reactions to similar proposals, provides a framework for analyzing contemporary attitudes and policies. It also highlights the cyclical nature of geopolitical ambitions, where past actions influence present interactions. 4. Environmental considerations. The environmental implications of Trump's interest in Greenland are significant, yet often overshadowed by economic and political discussions. The focus on resource extraction raises concerns about environmental degradation and climate change. Greenland's fragile ecosystem is already under threat from climate change, and increased industrial activity could exacerbate this situation. This aspect is crucial, as it highlights the need for sustainable practices and the protection of indigenous lands. A failure to address these environmental issues could lead to long-term consequences not only for Greenland but for global ecological health. 5. The role of social media. Trump's use of social media to express his views and rally support reflects a shift in how political narratives are constructed and disseminated. His statements about Greenland often serve to mobilize his base and frame the discussion in a nationalistic context. The implications of this strategy extend beyond mere rhetoric. They can influence public opinion and policy. This evolution in communication methods alters the landscape of political engagement and raises questions about accountability and the spread of misinformation. 6. Economic disparities. The discussions surrounding Greenland often simplify the economic narratives into binary frameworks of profit and loss. However, the realities of economic disparities within Greenland, including the reliance on Danish subsidies and the limited development of local industries, are crucial. Understanding these economic structures challenges the notion that acquisition would be beneficial for all parties involved. It also highlights the need for equitable economic development strategies that prioritize local communities rather than external interests. Conclusion. While media coverage of Trump's interest in acquiring Greenland tends to focus on headlines and sensationalism, the underlying complexities warrant deeper examination. Recognizing the geopolitical, historical, environmental, and social dimensions of this issue is essential for a nuanced understanding of the implications for Greenland and its people. These overlooked aspects provide critical insights into the broader dynamics of international relations and the importance of respecting local sovereignty and environmental stewardship in an increasingly interconnected world. 1. Geopolitical importance of Greenland. Trump's interest in acquiring Greenland stems from its strategic geopolitical significance, especially in the context of the Arctic and global power dynamics. As climate change leads to melting ice, new shipping routes and resource opportunities are becoming accessible, heightening the interest of global powers like Russia and China. Trump's assertion that Greenland's resources such as minerals and oil are underutilized adds a layer of economic rationale to his proposal, emphasizing national security and economic advantages for the U.S. 2. Resistance from Greenland and Denmark. The unequivocal rejection from both Greenland and Denmark's leadership highlights the complexities of international relations. Greenland's Prime Minister Múte Egede's firm stance that Greenland is ours reflects a deeper sentiment of autonomy and resistance against perceived colonialism. This resistance is not just political but is also tied to cultural identity and historical context, as Greenland's population of approximately 60,000 has a unique heritage and has increasingly sought to assert its independence from Denmark. 3. Trump's broader territorial ambitions. Trump's suggestions for not only acquiring Greenland but also reclaiming the Panama Canal and merging with Canada illustrate a broader pattern of territorial ambitions. This raises questions about his administration's approach to foreign policy and territorial disputes, revealing a transactional view of international relations. The reactions to these suggestions, ranging from ridicule to serious denials from the respective governments, underscore the potential diplomatic fallout and the perception of the U.S. on the global stage. For media representation and public perception, the varied media coverage of Trump's Greenland proposal influences public perception significantly. Sources like CNN and Forbes provide differing narratives, from emphasizing the economic benefits to highlighting the absurdity of the proposition. Reflecting broader societal attitudes towards Trump's administration. The media portrayal not only shapes public opinion but also impacts international relations, as it can lead to misinterpretations or escalation of diplomatic tensions based on sensationalized reporting. 1. The purchase of Alaska 1867. One of the most significant territorial acquisitions in U.S. history was the purchase of Alaska from Russia for $7.2 million, negotiated by Secretary of State William H. Seward. This acquisition was initially mocked as Seward's folly or Seward's icebox, but it later proved to be strategically and economically beneficial due to its vast natural resources, including oil, gold, and fisheries. 2. The Louisiana Purchase 1803. The Louisiana Purchase was a landmark event in American history where the United States acquired approximately 828,000 square miles of territory from France for $15 million. This acquisition effectively doubled the size of the nation and provided vast tracts of land for westward expansion, contributing to the concept of manifest destiny. The purchase was initially criticized, but it became a foundational moment for the growth and economic development of the United States. 3. The Gadsden Purchase 1854. The Gadsden Purchase involved the acquisition of land from Mexico that is now southern Arizona and New Mexico for $10 million. The U.S. aimed to facilitate a southern transcontinental railroad route, and while the purchase was controversial, it was essential for expanding U.S. territory and influence in the region. The acquisition underscored the ongoing tensions and negotiations following the Mexican-American War. Future outlook. Predictions for Trump's Greenland acquisition efforts. Overview. In light of Donald Trump's renewed interest in acquiring Greenland, the geopolitical landscape surrounding this proposal is set to evolve. The future of U.S.-Greenland relations, as well as the broader implications for international politics, will hinge on multiple factors, including local governance, international alliances, and resource management. 1. Geopolitical significance of Greenland. As climate change continues to reshape global dynamics, Greenland's strategic importance is expected to increase. The melting ice caps are opening up new shipping routes and access to untapped natural resources, making Greenland a focal point for major powers like the United States, Russia, and China. Prediction: over the next decade, increased interest from these powers will escalate discussions around Greenland's sovereignty, prompting Denmark and Greenland to strengthen their defense and diplomatic ties with allies, particularly within the NATO framework. 2. Local governance and autonomy. Greenland currently enjoys a degree of self-rule under the Kingdom of Denmark, and its government has expressed a strong stance against any sale or transfer of territory, as local sentiments lean towards independence. Any attempt by the U.S. to acquire Greenland could be met with significant resistance. Prediction: the push for independence in Greenland will gain momentum, leading to more robust negotiations for autonomy from Denmark. This could result in a referendum on independence within the next 5 to 10 years, complicating U.S. acquisition discussions. 3. Economic factors. Greenland is reportedly rich in minerals like zinc, copper, and rare earth elements, which are crucial for technology and renewable energy industries. Trump has cited these resources as a significant reason for U.S. interest. Prediction: as global demand for these minerals rises, Greenland could emerge as a key supplier. This economic potential may lead Denmark and Greenland to seek partnerships with other nations, including the U.S., on resource extraction without compromising sovereignty. This could create a new economic arrangement that benefits both parties without a formal sale. 4. International reactions. Trump's previous attempts to discuss the acquisition of Greenland faced backlash from Denmark and Greenland's leadership. The international community's response to U.S. territorial ambitions will play a critical role in shaping future relations. Prediction: any renewed push by Trump will likely encounter diplomatic challenges, including potential sanctions or international condemnation. Denmark will rally support from EU allies, emphasizing the importance of respecting national sovereignty. 5. Domestic political climate in the U.S. Trump's influence in American politics remains significant, but the political landscape is ever-changing. His proposals, including those concerning Greenland, will be scrutinized within the context of U.S. domestic policies and public opinion. Prediction: the 2026 midterm elections will likely influence Trump's ability to pursue such proposals. If he regains the presidency in 2024, he may attempt more aggressive negotiations. However, public sentiment against territorial acquisitions could lead to backlash, moderating his approach. 6. Technological developments. Advancements in technology may change how nations exploit resources in Greenland. As extraction techniques become more environmentally friendly, the feasibility of tapping into Greenland's resources without significant ecological impact could become a reality. Prediction: by 2030, technology may enable sustainable resource extraction, allowing for a cooperative model that aligns with global climate goals. This could pave the way for U.S.-Greenland partnerships focused on development rather than acquisition. 7. Cultural and historical considerations. The Inuit population in Greenland has a rich cultural heritage that is deeply tied to their land. Any discussions around acquisition must consider the voices and rights of these indigenous peoples. Prediction: the increasing global focus on indigenous rights will pressure any potential U.S. negotiations to include significant involvement of Greenland's native population. This will shape the narrative around any U.S. interests in the region, emphasizing respect for local governance and culture. Conclusion: while Donald Trump's aspirations to acquire Greenland face considerable challenges, the geopolitical significance of the territory will continue to grow. The future may not see a formal acquisition, but rather a complex web of economic partnerships and international diplomacy that respects Greenland's autonomy and cultural heritage. As these dynamics unfold, both the U.S. and Greenland will need to navigate the delicate balance between national interests and global responsibilities in an increasingly interconnected world.